Okay. And we are live. That's right. Good morning, crypto warriors, and welcome back to the Gentleman of Crypto episode 1259. Today is Tuesday, December 3rd, 2024, and I'm King here to bridge the gap between community and crypto every day, Monday through Friday at 10ish. Today's top stories: Microstrategy can ignore Bitcoin bear market price crashed at 20K, says research. Coinbase will drop law firms who hire anti-crypto former SEC staff. Coinbase integrates Apple Pay for all on-ramp apps. U.S. government transfers 1.9 billion Bitcoin seized from Silk Road to Coinbase Prime, and XRP cuts reserve requirement by 90%, allowing for smaller new wallets and more. But first and foremost, of course, let's go ahead and take a look at these prices. Before I do, I realize I didn't even title this bad boy. What's the title today? The title today is, let's see, Coinbase is all in the news, so I got to title something Coinbase. Coinbase, Apple Pay, and let's see, Coinbase and Apple Pay versus anti-crypto people. I don't know. Coinbase, Apple Pay unite to unite against anti-crypto. There we go. Let's do it like that. Let's start it off like that. Let's get this show rolling. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at these prices to see what's been going on. Bitcoin's at $95,436, down 1%. Ethereum's at, oh, let me make sure I got this screen blew up. I know I had that screen small. Y'all need to see these prices. Ethereum number 2, $3,585, down 1.6%. Ripple at $2.49, went down about 5%, but it's been a great week at 82% growth. Number 5, Solana at $224, down 0.54%. Let's see, number 8 now, Cardano at $1.20, up 5.88%, and number 10, Avalanche at $50, up 2.48% as well. Fear and Greed Index has slipped a little bit to a 76. Bitcoin dominance has definitely slipped to a 55%, which again, all that does is kind of annotate the fact that a lot of the capital from Bitcoin, that pump, is now starting to flow on altcoins. May take a little bit longer than what we thought to get 100K, barring any type of great type of news event, right? Ethereum dominance at a 12.59. So a little bit slippage on the main too, but everyone else is still kicking and swinging. I saw somebody mention in the chat yesterday. Of course, technically everyone's in profit unless you just bought a $99,000 Bitcoin. Everyone is in profit. So feel free to take those profits, right? Take the profits, reset, restart, whatever. Unless you're one of those people who's holding on to like a whole Bitcoin, so you might want to hang on to that. But if you're in some of these altcoins and stuff, feel free to take those profits right now. Don't think about how much more you could have. Think about what you will and what you could have missed if something goes wrong in life. So it's definitely unpredictable. We talked about that last show, but don't forget to take some of that profit too and buy yourself. So now I want to say the biggest mistake I made in this experience since I began is not pressing the gas down harder and just saying F the government, wherever it comes with, it comes with. I'll take the fine, not knowing it would be fines. And the second thing is, not taking more profit. I think that's something we all may have done in the past, but just not taking more profit and spending that digital capital for real world assets. So don't make those mistakes. Buy your toys and stuff, and then once you have it, you can kind of sit back. All right, some quick shout outs. What's going on? Discover Your Options, Wisdom Bars, BK Crypto, Patrick Walter, Let's Square, and CryptX, Hyben, Ty Madden, Magnolia Pelican, Satoshi Slim, Cal Allen, C. Allen, Jump Out Girls. Good morning. Let's get it. Let's get this show going. Reno Gamble, good morning. Top story of the day is Microstrategy. Actually, if you didn't see Microstrategy's total Bitcoin buys, I don't want to quote the wrong number, so let me just look it up in the background. I wasn't going to run it as a story, but I did see the article come out that says, BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF tops 500,000 Bitcoin holdings worth $48 billion. And then they also had a number for MicroStrategy. I can't find MicroStrategy's total price as well, but essentially they both have Bitcoin to the billions of dollars right now. One of the things we've talked about in our analysis is, hey, what's going to happen if the price of Bitcoin crash? Now, I'm still under the auspice that if it were to take even a 20 or 30% dip, while the likes of MicroStrategy would be good behind the scenes, the public perception, the FUD would be so bad, it may cause others to sell, maybe not them, but others in their same market or vertical or whatever. But corporate Bitcoin adoption is going parabolic, and early birds have little to worry about when it comes to Bitcoin price corrections. This article says Bitcoin can now fall below $20,000 without crucially impacting MicroStrategy's Bitcoin treasury. And again, I want to remind people, while this is like, it's one of those, it's true, but it's false. It's true as it probably won't affect the treasury. It probably wouldn't even affect Michael Saylor. I think he's been through some dips now, or a dip. But for the average person, they're going to be looking at this like, I want my money out. Now, again, it's probably not that easy to take your capital on and off some of these platforms like MicroStrategy or BlackRock. You're probably tied in there a little bit longer, or they have enough assets under management to where you don't have to be tied in. But let's say the bigger portfolios are. Regardless, I think it'll be the people who have a problem with it, not necessarily the portfolio. Can the portfolio survive it? Of course, because we all know one Bitcoin is one Bitcoin, no matter how you cut it, right? So it's not like you're saying Bitcoin went from 90K to 20K. That's what the traditional banks and everybody's doing. For us, we're just like, if he has 20 Bitcoin, he has 20 Bitcoin, regardless of the price. So I think he knows. And for those who are, again, well versed in the space, know that even if it were to fall below 20K, it wouldn't crucially impact their treasury because the amount of Bitcoin would still be the same. However, it definitely would affect public opinion. It may affect some of their partners in this space who have, like BlackRocks of the world who have capital. Maybe they wouldn't push out, but some of the smaller ones might. So I get what they're saying. Like, hey, their treasury would still be great even after it says here an 80% price collapse. But again, my thing would be, would the people in place still be as standing as strong and have those same type of diamond hands we've seen in the past with smaller investors? MicroStrategy feels the heat only if Bitcoin price hits $18,000. Folks, that is almost, I was going to say almost a 90, but yeah, so an 80% drawdown from today's price. This is great news. Like this is great news. This is what institutions can actually do as far as serving as that Bitcoin reserve. Because now, without these institutions having this much Bitcoin in capital, an 80% dip may have been like, oh, market's about to go quiet for another year or two, about to go through this bear cycle or whatever. But when you have the MicroStrategies down, the BlackRocks, and they're saying, hey, we can do 80% and still be okay, then that means the market strength is amazing. A. B is also a possible warning to say, hey, folks, we're getting, this is what they do with the media. This is why these companies buy media companies where it's like, well, this company isn't worth anything. You're going to operate at a loss. And it's like, yeah, but we control the media. You're crazy if you don't think MicroStrategy and BlackRock has been pumping media articles and all these editors and writers are just like, let's just keep talking about it. No, they're definitely doing some payola on the back end, make sure these articles about them keep coming out so they can keep getting more retail investors and more portfolios, which makes sense. I put that out there because what if MicroStrategy is behind this article and other articles that may be coming forward? Like, hey, we can survive 80%. Hey, this will MicroStrategy or a BlackRock will look if the price is 50% less. If we start getting more of those articles, that's because they know something's coming, right? The sailors of the world and everyone else is like, all right, we didn't watch this game about 6 times this year already, as far as going options, ETF options, futures, and then shorten the market. We keep watching the same trading plays. It's working, but how long can we make this work before the market reacts and dips to this? And again, if we were to see, I'm calling now, if we see 2 more articles, 3 is a trend. If we see 2 more articles that essentially say something about MicroStrategy will survive a dip, or BlackRock, if we see 2 more, is coming sooner rather than later. So we'll see what happens with that. Make sure you're paying close attention, because that could be the signal you all need. Let's say you miss a show or whatever, but you keep starting to see articles that says if Bitcoin were to dip, the price of MicroStrategy, if you start seeing that in succession over and over and over again, it may be time to swap to one of those stable coins and hold out the storm that would eventually come. All right, let's see. Oh, thank you for the tip. Thank you, Lamontre Stokes Rando. How can I recover my XRP if Coinbase took it off my wallet? I'm not gonna lie to you. That is a tough one for those who are new. I've been preaching, as well as one of my old platform partners, we were preaching to get off Coinbase, I think, since probably about 2018. And the reason why, probably even 2017, the reason why is because when I was in Bitcoin early on in 2016, 2017-ish, and I think at the time Bitcoin, let's say like it was a few $100. But when I was buying Bitcoin on Coinbase, essentially after like 2 or 3 Bitcoin errors, is like this account's restricted. And it happened like 2 or 3 times. They would just like want to give me no notice. They just restrict the account. They have like, you got 48 hours to take all this capital out, or we're going to keep it. Wasn't nothing you could talk about, no one you could talk to, no salute, like none of that. It was like, they was like, get your money and go, right? So this was happening back then. Sometimes they were restricting accounts. You wouldn't even be able to access it first without jumping through the hoops. When support wasn't that strong, you didn't have phone support, or email like wasn't that popular. Take a week or two. So you could be sending Coinbase email and you wouldn't even hear back from them for like a week and a half, 2 weeks about it. So it was during those times I had already said something's awry. They're trying to keep people's crypto longer than what people want them to. They're trying to get it lost in their system. And hey, if you're actually a player, they want you off their platform if you're not like P's and Q's. I'm working with Chase of America. Like, you know what I mean? Unless you're doing something like that and you're working with one of these institutions, they didn't even want it on their platform for the most part. So yeah, I've always said you should be off of Coinbase. There's no reason for a beginner to be on Coinbase, period. I guess maybe if you're on Coinbase Pro and you're working for one of these institutions, it makes sense. But if not, it's just, honestly, and I'm not trying to take a dig at the Warriors out here. I just got to be real with you. If you're still on Coinbase, it's out of pure laziness. It's out of pure laziness. And whatever comes with it is going to come with it. For those who don't know, Coinbase released an article a few years ago. An article was released about Coinbase after they put out a press release with their terms of service highlighting. They highlighted themselves. Hey, if anything were to happen to our platform, I can't even say the word. Was it catastrophic? I can't say the word right now. If anything catastrophic, but I want to say catastrophe. I can't say the word. Somebody spell it out for me. Sound it out for me in the comments. If a catastrophe, there it is. You got to keep saying it until you get it. If a catastrophe were to happen, Coinbase has already stated we're keeping the crypto. Now, that's not the funny part. They're like, yo, we keeping it. We're not going to ask you all. We're not going to come back and let you know. Like, we're just keeping it. So if the government were to come after Coinbase with some craziness, and again, this is before they went private too. So I'm not sure how, or public. So I'm not sure how it work on the public end, to be fair. But when they were private, they were making it clear we keeping your stuff if anything goes wrong. So again, no, Coinbase is not the company to be holding your crypto. If you lost capital on it, my best bet to you is to go through their like solutions and their help desk and stuff, and X and Twitter. If you got a decent following, you make enough noise, hit them with a couple of tweets, they don't hit you back. Hit them with some DMs, they don't hit you back. Start making some posts and tagging their ass. Like, oh, y'all just gonna keep money now? They'll get back to you ASAP. But honestly, where they're at right now, the trajectory they're on, I don't see them unless you have 50K plus in Ripple. If it's a couple $1,000s and it wasn't their platform, I see them honoring it because it just isn't worth the headache at this point. So try that way. Reach out to them. But if you reach out to them and they say it's no can do, then it's honestly going to be a no can do. This is crypto, folks. This is how it works in the space. All right. What else do we have going on besides MicroStrategy saying 80% drawdown is nada? We can hang with it and we good to go. That's amazing news every here. Oh, this story made my teeth white today, even though it was too little, too late. Today's is a Coinbase day in general. Today is a Coinbase day. Yep. Homie, oh man, y'all be stealing my thunder. I'm so happy we have this wonderful community and all you crypto warriors are so intelligent. But it's getting to the point I can't look at the chat no more. Y'all are stealing the show thunder. Homie said Coinbase is gearing up to steal from the U.S. government. So yes and no. Coinbase isn't technically gearing up to do it. I don't think they know it. They're going to be the ones doing it. Wink, wink. The U.S. government is gearing up Coinbase to steal from the U.S. government. I would fully agree with that sentiment, and we're going to get into it. Listen, the fact that you called that out, I love it. I love it. Hey, yeah, Hyman, it was catastrophe, but I said spell it out, or I sounded out. I said spell it out. Sound it out. Thank you. All right, let's go ahead and jump on this. In the finest form of self-regulation that you can ever see, Coinbase has finally stepped up. I mean, goodness gracious, it only took 6 years or something. Coinbase will drop law firms who hire anti-crypto former SEC staff, says the CEO. Thank you, Brian Armstrong and Coinbase for finally fighting. It took y'all literally years. You didn't start fighting until I would say probably 2 or 3 years ago during COVID. After you went public and the U.S. Basically smacked you in front of everyone and said, just because we let them go public doesn't mean they're a regulated company. Gotcha. Yeah, after they gave you that public shaming, you all finally took the offensive and said this is enough. You should have did that from the beginning. You didn't even have to go public, but whatever. That's neither here or there for this story. This story is about what I consider self-regulation and how it could have worked. I was preaching it from the jump. If all the big companies, Coinbase included, were to jump on self-regulation, it would have worked. We would not have so much litigation. We wouldn't have so many regulation. the president and the incoming president would not be talking about crypto if we did self-regulation. I want to throw that out there. And this is a form of it. You see the United States do it all the time. How? Sanctions. Sanctions. That's right. We about to sanction somebody. You can't trade with them. You can't be their friend. I don't want to see you over at their house visiting, playing. Don't talk to their grandma. Don't accept no cookies. Nothing. Nothing. If they need a bottle of water and I'm thirsty. Nothing. Don't spit their way. All right. That is how the United States of America, takes sanctions. We do not play with the opposite team. That is all our market needs to do to the same people who are against our market. Sanction them. Let's take it back to middle school and high school. If you talk to them, you're not my friend. No, boo-boo. If you over there hanging with them, we're not friends. We're not cool. I don't want to hear that. We're all adults. We're grown. We can go this direction. You go that direction. We can come back and eat dinner together. No, the F we cannot, when the direction you're going to is a direction that wants to end our livelihood, kidnap us, and imprison us. Like, no, there is no middle ground to this. This isn't no fine, we'll be friends, and then no. So if it's finally something Coinbase has done right throughout all the years, this has honestly been one of the first and biggest things to me I've seen Coinbase do right. And that's push this narrative. And I agree with the one thing I will say, I don't know what that was. Hey, look, I'll be talking a long time. One thing I will say is Coinbase, whoever working over there, can y'all please shout me out? We know what's going on with some of these stories. That's all I'm going to say. But let's go ahead and jump into this story. Coinbase taking my brilliant ideas of saying, hey, if they working for these companies, they doing that revolving door, we need to stop playing this game. Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong said the exchange stopped working with law firm Milbank after it hired former SEC official Gerber Gruhl. Now, the one thing that is whack again, and this is the whack part. Now that Coinbase is in their position of being untouchable, to where there's so many barriers of entry and there's no competition from here in the United States. Now they're like, hey guys, don't hire any people who work for the SEC. Why not? Y'all was hiring people who worked everywhere. You got the TD Ameritrade executive in there. You got the Coinbase marketing director. Have you forgot? Coinbase was hiring anybody and everybody with a little bit of power who work, whether the SEC, FDIC. You were hiring all those folks to help you go public. But now that you're public and you have all the money and the keys to the kingdom, now you're telling people don't work with them? That's why it's hard listening to people like that. Like, it's hard. Like, it's hard listening to people like this. It's like, but you did it and you're where you're at, right? Now, again, if you are trying to be a Coinbase and get to where they're going, don't listen to them. Hire the people that's going to help your business. And I think we're going to see that across the market as well. However, if you don't need them, I say we stand strong to this, not because Coinbase is saying it, because this is the way we self-regulate our market. We allow this revolving door to happen where they can create BS laws and regulation, and then within 6 months be working for a private company teaching those laws and regulation that they created out of thin air. Then that's the problem in itself. So if you choose to ignore those people, then hopefully this type of stuff will stop. They'll understand, hey, we can't go crazy against this market in office and then leave and get hired by them out of office. 1, 2, to even show you how crazy this is, I want you all to really think about something. This is how powerful crypto and Bitcoin is, even though they try to dilute it and minimize its proudness. These people from the SEC, FDIC, and all these other companies, they're leaving to come to crypto. They're not leaving to go to banking like they used to. They used to leave and go to Chase. They used to leave and go to Bank of America, Wells Fargo. They used to leave and go to banks. They're leaving to go to crypto companies now. The flipping has happened behind the scenes already. We're just really kind of seeing this happen in real life and feel it. The flipping has happened. We're making stories about the chairs of SEC and their staff leaving and doing a revolving door to crypto, not doing a revolving door to the banks as they've done in the past to Wall Street, as we've seen throughout history now. Do you understand how mad this is? Now, to be fair, a lot of these crypto people are now bankers, Wall Street. They figure out how to hijack the community as a whole. Why? Because all it took was some money and some goofy jokes, and you got people sold, right? So I will say it's not like much has changed, but it has changed as far as the writing on the wall. So again, this is Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong saying the crypto exchange will not work with law firms to hire individuals involved in what he described as anti-crypto actions during the tenure in government. I wouldn't either, because this is also, for those who get the reference, This is the Jay Prince NBA YoungBoy situation. Basically, guys, a rap manager called up a rapper who's outside in the streets, a little young rapper a few years ago. He called him and said, "Hey, man, I heard you got robbed." He called him publicly too. He let it out publicly. "I heard you got robbed. We got your jewelry. You know, I'm a friend of yours, so you can get it back." For anybody who really been in the streets knows, like, especially if you do this publicly, were you the one who took it? Because you kind of talking like you might have been the one who took it. And even if you weren't the one to take it, since you inserted yourself in this business, hey, if I'm tripping, you took it too. So to keep it real, and for those who understand everything I just said, I'm saying this is essentially what's happening in this space with Coinbase. Coinbase is like, hold on. You're not going to lead regulation and lawsuits and everything else against us to try to destroy us, and then come back out on a Monday and be like, "Hey, I can work for you and show you everything those guys over there are doing bad." And it's like, no, you were a part of them. You were doing the bad with them. Don't come over here and try to be saved now. Like, this is what it is. So I think Coinbase is finally drawing a hard line saying, hey, if you're over there, stay over there. We do not want you back. This was in an X post today on December 3rd. He said law firms that hire people who try to, quote, unlawfully kill an industry without clarifying the rules. He urged the crypto community not to support individuals who have worked against the sector. And really quick, last thing I want to point out about this, and this is why, I mean, again, might be the military in me or something. I don't know, but it's just like mentally, I just can't get behind and around people, because how can you say that the government or these agents or whatever try to unlawfully, like, this is the key word, you as a human, as a man, as an adult male in a world, is saying something unlawfully, something was unlawfully killed or unlawfully tried to be killed. You had a stake in it, you had ownership of it, and you laid down? Like, this is what I'm reading. You're even admitting they tried to do this unlawfully, and you had the resources to fight, and you laid down, and now you're saying don't hire these guys. Just weakness on top of weakness on top of weakness, which is why I'm happy to see these companies get what they get. I'm glad. Listen, I know Brian's spending money. He got the most expensive house in America and all that. It doesn't come without stress. And I'm glad you get that stress all the time to remind you you're effing up, man. Like, you coming out after the fact, even admitting that this was unlawful. If it was so unlawful, you had the resources to fight and you chose not to. Absolutely, like, astounding to me. This is incredible. Of course, he urged the crypto community not to support individuals who have worked against the sector. I'm not going to read this long thing. Brian, again, has done a lot of virtue signaling, and he wants everybody to be all crypto friendly now that he's made his money. But on the way up, he was not a crypto enthusiast or crypto friendly. He was big bank, big government, big everything friendly. Everything outside of being a crypto enthusiast or here for the crypto community, Brian Armstrong was. I would assume that's probably why his own partner left the company before they even went public, right? So I'm not going to get too much into it. You get it. I will say I agree with the narrative. And to me, I agree with it because this is a form of self-regulation. And glad to finally see, hopefully, Coinbase is getting on board. However, this could just be some BS coming from them. We'll see in a second. Continuing on this Coinbase train, we're going to be talking about Coinbase integrating Apple Pay for all on-ramp apps. The title is the headline is the story itself. That's right. Coinbase and Apple Pay have now partnered together. They were starting from December 2nd, actually. Users logging into apps built with the Coinbase on-ramp services will see the option to log in and conduct transactions via Apple Pay. According to a blog post from Coinbase, app developers don't have to do anything to enable the integration. This is important because we're going to start seeing this more and more with bigger platforms, companies, and eventually banks. It's sharing customers, sharing volume, sharing email lists, sharing IP addresses, and just growing. Coinbase is now one of the big boys and girls, as I just stated. They're along the likes of Apple. So for them to come out and say, hey, guys, don't work with the SEC, again, I wouldn't doubt it if they're only saying that. I wouldn't doubt if Coinbase is only saying this whole don't work with the SEC thing, not to be community activists, but to actually slow down your growth as a company. Because like I said, if you're a competing exchange, don't listen to him. If you're a competing exchange, you better hire the SEC. You better hire Gary Gensler. What? Are you kidding me? I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't advocate for it, but I'm just saying, like, as far as growth, like, no, we're trying to catch Coinbase. Coinbase hired all these. They don't want us to hire nobody. Like, get out of here. They might just be saying it for their own self-preservation. But again, the big news of this story is this Apple Coinbase Pay. I'm calling it now. Maybe in a year or two, expect to see a Chase Coinbase partnership. Expect to see like anything, any type of wealth institution, any type of bank, anything. All the partnerships are going to happen. It's going to be sharing alike, because as I mentioned the other day, it's going to be about building volume and building the network. And the best way to do that is to add easier on-ramps. Everybody has to play friendly, fine. We'll just get everybody in the sector. Then once everyone's in the sector, then we'll start fighting for volume and go our separate ways. But until then, let's go ahead and onboard everyone. I think you'll start seeing tons of companies partnering together, and it won't be long. Let's not forget, Apple is a tech company, folks. They just happen to have iPhones and music and all this other stuff, but they are a technology company, and we are in the space of fintech, financial and technology. And let's not forget, Apple's trying to go into the fintech space. They want to become a financial, Apple Pay, all this other stuff, right? So with all that being said, expect to see Apple Pay partnering with anyone and everyone in the crypto space that can bring them volume, bring them more capital. And of course, if you're buying with Apple Pay, sometimes you're going to switch it all to your wallet. Maybe you'll leave it in some of their wallets. There's capital to go around. So this move makes sense to me, and I expect to see more of it. It just shows how great this space is and how it will continue to grow. Just chill, guy. Jake, I haven't got any, but I probably need to get some. Any information on or updates on the Solana phones? Cubeline, what up, though? I wouldn't hold my breath on the Solana phones, only because this has been tried again. This is one of those things where y'all let me know in the comments for those who've been around. The crypto phone thing is probably like the fourth time of it being tried. I wouldn't put my hopes into it. I will say it might give you a little bump on the price, but if anything, it's going to give you a dip once everyone finds out the project doesn't work. And the reason why is because the mobile space is hard to jump into. Again, you got the likes of Apple, the behemoths, Apple, Google, Android. Like, you're not about to jump into this space in a niche market with a niche item. Right now, a crypto phone is a niche item in a niche market. So I don't see it blowing up or doing anything different. Unfortunately, that's only because we've seen it about 4 times in this space now. So here's the things. Whenever every bull market, here's some things people are going to do. People you never heard of are going to come talk and teach crypto, right? You're going to have companies doing phones. Like, phones is a good one. You're going to have companies doing debit cards and credit cards to your crypto, right? Those are probably, what else do we have? Is one more I'm missing off the top of my head. But those are some of the most popular ones right there. It's going to be phones, credit cards, and influencing, right? Those are some of the 3 things we've seen over and over in bear markets. So I want to hold my breath on it. Let's see, what else do we have? Make some slushies for the kids. What y'all talking about? Oh, love the sweatshirt. Yes, this is a dope sweatshirt. Somebody in the comments remind me who sent me this one. I can't think on the top of my head. It might have been BK Crypto, but I'm not sure. I don't want to give the wrong attribution as well. Yes, the flipping is happening. The Warriors for the feedback. How about for purchasing altcoins? There we go. Let's get this altcoins in the conversation going. Bitcoin ATMs are a no-go, in my opinion, because of the fees around them. And of course, peer-to-peer, you still can get good deals because some people are still willing to trade for a reasonable price despite the market price. And what's crazy about peer-to-peer, they killed it. Local Bitcoins. Could you imagine if local Bitcoins was up right now? Oh, man. And here's the thing, people, the peer-to-peer market is real, and that's what Bitcoin was made for. It just sucks that they essentially made it illegal to do peer-to-peer. They're saying that you're going to operate as a money transmitter, when in reality it's just like you're just skirting the rules. So am I a money transmitter if I give you $10 and you give me 10 singles? At what point do you become a money transmitter? It's the funny part about it. All right, last but not least, Coinbase is still in the news. From what we alluded to today, they're either trying to steal the money or the government's trying to steal the money through Coinbase. But U.S. government transfers $1.9 billion of Bitcoin seized from Silk Road to Coinbase Prime. Listen, the headlines, the story itself, I don't need to go in detail. You're seeing it, and it makes no sense. And this is what I mean by the United States either doesn't know enough or they're in on it, probably in on it, to where they shouldn't be storing and holding crypto and doing everything else. Why are we giving a private company the keys to $1.9 billion in Bitcoin, in crypto? It doesn't make sense. Like, this is what it's about. Become your own bank. It's the United States government. and we can't do a United States government wallet. Like, we have to store it with Coinbase Prime. Y'all don't see what's happening? The Federal Reserve is being recreated right in front of our eyes, right? Either through Microstrategy, BlackRock, Coinbase, or a combination of all three. Hey, sorry, Gemini. They said y'all wasn't playing ball enough. Y'all still being a little too friendly to that crypto community. Now, that Brian Armstrong guy, I like that guy. He don't care. He doesn't care about those Bitcoiners and crypto guys and girls. He don't care. But those Gemini twins, I don't know about those Winklevoss twins. They seem to really like this space and what they're doing. I don't like these guys. All right. So yeah, there's no reason for the US government to be sending Coinbase, a private company, billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin and crypto, especially when they already have, like, it's literally no reason unless you're telling the world, hey, the United States government does not know how to store our own Bitcoin and crypto, which if that were the case, you shouldn't have it, or the people who have it shouldn't have their jobs, first of all. Secondly, while you're storing it with Coinbase, like, this is the democratic questions I ask. Was it a contract where all exchanges or all people with a wallet could pitch in a contract? Was it a open submission portal to where anyone could say, hey, I mean, what if King wants to hold on to the $1.9 billion from 1.9 billion Bitcoin from the US government? Oh my goodness, this is 1.9. Was it $1.9 billion of Bitcoin? Yeah, so $1.9 billion of Bitcoin, almost $2 billion of Bitcoin. How come I can't hold it? I mean, honestly, I could argue that I could store it just as secure, if not more secure, than what Coinbase Prime could, looking at both our histories. So how did they win this contract? I really want to know. What was the threshold? When did the vote go out? Who was allowed? Because it looks like, I mean, this is just me talking crazy. I don't know. But it looks like there isn't no democratic processes. It looks like there's somebody or somebody's in the government saying, hey, here's all this money from the US government, which is also taxpayer money. So each individual taxpayer, and we're going to give it to a private company to hold that no one, like, or now I guess they're a public company, but essentially a private company, a quasi-private company. Like, who made that decision? Like, I'm just trying. How does this happen? How does this work, right? What happens if Coinbase loses it? Huh? Let me guess. The insurance and blah, blah, blah. And yeah. What happens if they lose it? What happens if we can't get it back? These are the questions that the same thing happened with the Federal Reserve. How do we have the Federal Reserve, another private company, printing all the money for essentially the planet, right? And no taxpayer are getting. How come I'm not getting my taste? And this is my thing, folks. When I see stories like this, why? What if all taxpayers decided we want all that $1.9 billion back in the form of taxes? So when we all open up our tax returns next year, it says, hey, whatever, we got minus $3 of what you owe. All of America got minus $3. I'll take that bet. Whatever. That's some good math. 330 million. How many are filing for taxes? Let's say at least 170 million, right? 150 million times 3 was that 300, 450. Yeah, that's pretty close. That was good. That was good. About times $3 off everybody thing, right? But seriously, I just don't know how the decision was made to give taxpayer-backed U.S. government Bitcoin to a private company, unless you are literally trying to do what we just did a couple years ago, and that's launder money through Ukraine. I mean, just send money to different places, or what we did years and years ago, of course, from the book we always reference, The Monster on Jekyll Island, when all those guys got together, the J.P. Morgans of the world, and banker here, and billionaire here, and weird old guy who drinks his sister's blood over here. They all got together and they rode that train to Jekyll Island. They say, hey, guys, we're going to create this Federal Reserve. We're going to create a balance sheet that says every dollar we have is an asset, but we can also loan it out, which makes it a debt. And we can put it all in the same balance sheet and make money and lose money and then get taxpayer money to the money we lost, even though we're still making it. People, it's going to be the biggest pyramid / Ponzi scheme you ever saw. We're going to have a private company printing off US dollars for the entire government where the taxpayers won't have any decisions about how this all goes. And they're going to fall for it. Why? Because we're going to keep them worried about tips from other citizens instead of things like their employer. We're going to keep them mixed up. We're going to make sure they have racism going and sports going and everything else. They're going to be too busy to realize they have a pyramid scheme of money. Even when Bitcoin comes out and shows you its value, and the reason why it is valuable is because it's fixed, it's it's codified, it's systemic. It won't change. A human intervention can't get to. Even when we show you what real money looks like, We're going to keep tricking everybody to believe it's not. While we're tricking everybody to believe it's not, we are going to get our taste and our cut. How? We're going to do the same way we did the Federal Reserve, boys. We're going to take all that capital. We're just going to start pushing it to private companies. No one's going to say a word. And here we are today. The exact same thing is happening. You are insane if you think $2 billion worth of Bitcoin is getting pushed from the American government to Coinbase, and none of it's going to go missing. None. Why is it 1.9 to begin with? Why ain't it a flat 2? I mean, let's keep it. Let's start there. Why is it not 1.923? Why is it not 1.9000124? Like, it's just a perfect 1.9, huh? Yeah, we see that every day. People, they're doing it in front of us. I love it. Gang, gang, gang. You cannot be mad. Let me go to some comments before I get to this last story. Hyben17 said, privatize the gains, socialize the losses. Exactly. That's exactly what's happening right now. Jake said, I will officially buy XRP if it goes to 160 or lower for the first time since 2017. And shout out to all the people. I've been seeing people left and right saying Ripple is not a crypto, of course, because XRP, for those who don't know, is essentially just on the actual ledger, their own internal ledger for the most part. So people are screaming Ripple ain't even a crypto. But yes, you know how these altcoins do. Time it then said, I love how you laugh at the most demonic shit ever. That's all we can do. These people are literally crazy. Real biggest Ponzi. I learned that in the military. I think I told y'all. But long story short, my boss, it was a lot going on one day. I was working. It was the first captain I ever worked for. Shout out to my captain. It was the first captain I worked for when I was I was a public affairs officer. Basically, I was a PR director at Naval Base San Diego, second largest base in the world. I think we got about 42,000 people coming and going off that base every day. May be up higher than that these days. When I was there, I was around 38 to 42,000 people came and left that base almost every day. So one of the biggest bases on the planet. But essentially, I was doing like I can't remember. I was like working with we were doing like some like tours type of stuff. I don't know. We were working with like celebrities and CEOs and Congress and all this stuff one day. And I just remember he's like being late. You know, my job is keep him on time on the schedule, get him to the next spot. But, you know, everybody's talking to him and pulling his ear. And I'm just like, and like behind the scenes is crazy though. So like he would turn and talk to us. He'd be like, yo, y'all need to be handling this X, Y, and Z. And finally I was like, sir, it's easier if you tell everybody because they're going to listen to you. They're not listening to me. And he's just smiling at everybody, shaking their hands. He looked at me with a straight face smile and he said, it's my job to smile at everybody. And then for them to think that everything's good, no problem, I'm never the bad guy. He was like, it's your job and your guys. He's talking about my team and everybody I was working with. He's like, it's all y'all job to be the bad guys and make sure shit is right. He's like, as soon as he said, he just went back around, turned around, started smiling. So from that lesson I learned from him, it's like, and again, fast forward even to my first deployment, we're dropping bombs. I've never seen captains and admirals happier to drop bombs on other people. Listen, the things they share with me is essentially like, you can smile, like we're professionals. This is what we do. And we always ready, and there's no worries. You smile through it because if you take it serious and everything, people gonna think you're the crazy one. You got to be able to smile at this and laugh at it, and just it is what it is. I mean, hey, you can't control it. If you go crazy, they're gonna point you out and be like, "See, that person's unstable, but that person's crazy, like this, that, and the other." No, you got to take it in stride and just laugh at the madness because that is what it is. It's straight madness. Jake Fever said Coinbase stock was getting low. They only had like 700 Bitcoin. They holding up the inevitable to the moon, the supply, the shot, 60 billion USD. Yeah, I mean, if Bitcoin pumps, Coinbase is going to be good for a little minute for sure. Let's see. Remember, Coinbase is also storing about 96% of the Bitcoin for all 11 Bitcoin spot ETFs. So yeah, that's not a centralized point of failure, is it? This was going to be hilarious if and when it does. Let's see. All right, last but not least, couple of stories. I think there's a couple, or maybe just one. XRP is in the news. This was actually a great story. I had to cover this. XRP cuts reserve requirement by 90%, allowing for smaller new wallets. XRP Ledger reduced its reserve requirement from 10 to 1 XRP, letting users fund wallets with as little as $2.56. Now, it makes sense because the price increased. But here's the problem with that, and this has been happening in the industry for a while. This is something we actually do need to self-regulate and start to put constraints on. So I'm calling it out. I'll be the first one to say in the industry and let the word go far and wide. Changing the terms of service, this overnight shit has to stop. Now, I want to be clear. I don't want to make this a law and we got to get the legal teams behind it. And this is, if you don't do it, this no, we don't need that. We can do it from a self-regulatory way in which something as simple as a 24-hour protest where it's like, fine, you want to change the terms of service, I'm pulling everything out for at least 24 hours to show you like what type of time we're on. So even with XRP, moving forward, if something like this happened, I would like to see the next day 40 to 60% of all their wallets drained. 48 hours, put it back, but just start draining these platforms and these people. And here's the reason why. So for those who don't know exactly what's going on, let's say you have Ripple in the wallet, right? And this is what people talk about dust. You make a transaction and you say, I want to, move all of my Ripple. I'm taking the max amount and move it over to Ethereum or whatever. And when you get done, there's still like $1.24 left. And you're like, I wanted all of it, right? And then time goes on, and that $1.24 turns into like $2.20 or whatever. You're like, oh, I want the $2, whatever, right? I'm just using a small example of what they mean. Now they're saying, hey, where it used to be, you have to have 10 whole ones that equal, let's say, I don't know, 10 at 50 cents. What is that? A few bucks, whatever. I don't want to do the math live and be wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, $5. All right. So it equals $5. You have to have a minimum of $5 in your account. Now, since the price is higher, they're saying you don't need the same 10 Ripple. Maybe you only need 5 of them to get to that $5 or one of them to get to that $5 mark. All right. So that's good because you are allowed to have less Ripple in your account and able to trade it. But where it's bad at is that we keep seeing this on exchanges, on different platforms and stuff, where throughout the night they're saying, hey, here's a change. And where this matters is because it's changed the opposite way as well. When it goes up too high, sometimes they'll say, well, you know what? XRP in this instance is saying we're allowing you to take more. But there's been times where they're going to say we're going to allow you to take less, i.e. Bitcoin exchanges, many Bitcoin exchanges, Coinbase being one of them back in the day. If Bitcoin price pumps, all of a sudden they're like, oh, actually today you can only take out 0.3 or 0.02 or something, whereas before you could take out a whole Bitcoin. But since the price pumped, they're like, well, we were going to limit that. So these are some of the tricks they played throughout the year. So I definitely don't agree with this. I will say it's good to see, right? It's good for Ripple. It's good for all of us in our wallets. We want to make those transactions and we don't want to leave dust lying around. But I think this is a slippery slope and something we need to correct ASAP, because if not, expect to see it happen again. But when this time when the price, when you see the Ripple $10, and you're like, oh, I'm a trade. All right, they're gonna be like, hey, actually, you need 1,000 Ripple to trade today. But wait, just yesterday you said you only need one. Yeah, the same way we changed it then, we changed it here. But don't worry, next week we'll change it again for you. Like, these middle of the night changes have to stop if we want our market to mature, even if you're doing the good ones like this. We have different, at least for Bitcoin, right? You got BIPs. There's a process to make changes. It just doesn't happen overnight, whether it's a good or a bad change. I would like to see that across a few different platforms. And oh, by the way, you're showing how centralized you are when you do make these type of changes overnight. Like, you're really showing the centralization, especially with me just coming out being like, it's content creators and people online screaming Ripple isn't the crypto right now. And then you come out with this mess where you're just like, yeah, we cut the reserve requirement by 90%. Again, I like this. This is great news to cut. And I say this as a person who's had that dust in my wallet when I've tried, like, I want my $15 for Ripple right now, but it won't let me transfer it because either the gas price is too high and it doesn't make sense, or it just isn't enough actual Ripple in my wallet, regardless of the price point, right? So again, this is great news to see. It's cool to see. And I hope more people allow this type of stuff with smaller wallet limits to be able to transfer. I think as technology increases, we'll be able to transfer smaller wallet limits, but there has to be a process. It can't be a Tuesday morning and I'm coming to the computer and it's like, oh, last night they cut the reserve limits. It's like, that shit is scary if it goes the other way. If you wake up again, Ripple's at $10 and you thinking, oh, I'm rich, I'm about to finally get that XYZ, let me cash out. And they say, hey guys, we switched the reserve requirements again to only, so you got to have over to only 10 at a time or something, or 15 or whatever. It's like, how about we just don't play that game at all? I don't want to play it at all. Don't push it over, push it down without giving me some notice. How about that? Give me some notice. Stop being so centralized, and let's make this thing work the right way. All right. Other than that, I believe that's the show for today. Did I miss an article? That is the show for today. Let me go ahead and scroll through some quick comments, and then we shall call it a day. Yeah, Keepline said, Ellippo, I'm not sure of them. Elliptico something says you must keep 10 XRP or the wallet. Yeah, a lot of them you have to keep 10. They're going to be using Tornado Cash Monero. Let's see. Oh, you know what? Speaking of which, I forgot to mention that the other day. I'm sorry, people. I'm so sorry. But if you know, you know. Dang, I forgot to mention it. And I saw it's been running too. Yes. Just inform you, said XRP and XML Stellar is down double than most alts. Is a sell-off is coming? Probably is, but just to run this back for those who didn't know, a quick trading tip. Whenever Ripple pumps, whenever XRP pumps, XLM is going to pump 24 to 48 hours later. Why? Because they're the Firefox to the Google Chrome. I think it was the co-founder of Ripple, or one of the people who was on the Ripple team, helped make Stellar, or made Stellar in general. I can't remember. It's been so long since I've researched most of these projects. But I do know whenever Ripple pumps, Stellar says, yo, hold on, wait for me, big bro. And then on the opposite, whenever Ripple dips, Stellar says, I'm going to take the same type of dump as well. But let me go. Yeah. I'm just looking at the Stellar chart in the background, and it definitely had a crazy pump. I think I saw it was like at 40% the other day. So literally following Ripple's thing. If you think $2 is too rich for your blood, go ahead and get it. Oh my goodness, Stellar is at 465% in a month. Yeah, so they definitely did their thing as well. Never forget about Stellar, oldie but goodie. They're the Digibyte these days. Stellar is the Digibyte. So we'll see how long they can go for. All right, other than that, that is the show for the day. Where am I at? 46. Damn, I keep going 45 minutes. I'm trying to go 30 minutes, man. I'd be too excited about all this news. Smash that like and share. I'm gonna see you all tomorrow. And yes, hey, shout out to the Bidens. That's what I keep telling y'all. Y'all think they different, but they're all the same. Shout out to Trump for being a felon and going to the presidency. Shout out for Biden for pardoning a felon. They all the same gang. People, you keep, oh, Trump is good, Biden is good, Trump is bad, Biden is bad. They're the same people. Add Kamala in there too. They're all the same. Shout out to Biden for showing everybody you just the same as everybody else, for being a real gangster. All right, it's a real gangster shit going on. I mean, you don't get mad at me. Tell me it's not real gangster stuff going on when there's guns involved and there's drugs involved and you're getting pardoned out of prison. That's it. Hey, don't get no more gangster than that. And thank you also, Biden and Trump. Thank you both for, again, this is why my mental has actually changed on the space and how I operate. And even in LA, shout out to LA, they really showed me this too. Shout out to Nipsey Hussle. It's only a case. It's only a case. It's appeals every day. You might have to go sit a couple. I don't even take it as a big deal, people, because as you see, this is the society we're living in. Gang, gang on gang, gang. Hey, as long as you have some money to pay some fines or some friends in high places, you'll be fine. So with that being said, let's stop all the virtual signaling. Let's get to this Bitcoin and crypto. Let's build our portfolios and let people do what they do with them. Smash